Do you guys know who Kristabel Plummer is? Or
I do.
Plummer? She's a TikToker.
I think it's Plummer.
It is Plummer.
Yeah. That's a Jamaican surname.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
I mean, other countries are available.
Anyway, she took to TikTok to explain why she didn't have any black friends until she was 26.
Right.
Get ready with me whilst I talk about the fact that I did not have black friends until I was 26. Firstly, what categories of friends do you have? Because I Googled and it says acquaintances, casual friends, close friends, and intimate friends. So when I first mentioned this, a lot of people found it surprising. But this can happen if you grow up in a certain area of London, the suburbs, you go to a certain school, you go down a certain career path, you know, it can be very white. If we take it way back, in primary school, I did have a negative, traumatic experience with some black girls, and that probably, you know, affected things. I think when you're young and things are that black and white, you know, you're not getting support from the people that look like you, that can affect you. And I only started to bring it up in therapy like 2 years ago. I was friendly with the mixed race girl. I remember we went to the Freshers' Fair and the ACS. I'd never heard of an Afro-Caribbean society. So I found it intriguing. But my friend in halls, she was like, oh, why do I have to do that? Because I'm black, you know? And I just kind of followed her. No, I wish I'd gone to a couple of meetings because it would have been really interesting. Obviously, I started blogging in 2008. And I think that helped me make more black friends. Again, they were probably classed as casual friends. It's hard to know like when the actual friendship started, but I would say around the age of 26. I think that making friends in this industry can be tough. Like there's the competitive element. Yeah, there's some people that I, you know, was definitely closer to at a time, and then we've kind of like drifted apart, and I'm not quite sure why that was. I mean, I was going through a tough time. Some people were not supportive. Like one literally chose my white ex-friends over me. I feel like she felt validated by these friends. There was a time when I was like, yay, blogging and influencing helped me find black friends. But now I don't really speak to a lot of them. The only black friends I have, I've maybe met in the last 3 years or so. And we're probably still casual friends. Again, I don't know if we'll get close.
Her overall posit is that, what does it mean to have close friends? What do close friends mean? And she also extended her conversation for the final bit to say she defended the BBC presenter who talked about us at large coming for her hair debacle
that we had last
She
week.
said, you know, this is an example of, you know, black people, why would you come for somebody knowing that as we grew up, we would have gone through things like that? So she kind of summarized like that. So it kind of sounded like you were saying, this is another backed up reason why I find it difficult to be friends with the blacks in abundance. So
Okay.
I just wanted to unpack it because I didn't know how I felt. I felt flip-floppy because at first I was like, I'm going to make this person actually one of my enemies because I don't like how she's talking. But then I thought, let's calm down and give grace and let's think about this. Is it, you know, she went to a school, a predominantly white school. She grew up in the suburbs. It's not her fault. She couldn't find blacker friends. And if she had negative experiences with black people, it's very hard to get out of that, man.
We don't give men grace when they have this similar story. Like, you know, there's been a few that have that, I was teased in primary school and this is why I date white. And
sorry, it's because you said date. That was different. Okay.
You know, but that's what they jump to. They're like, that's why they don't associate. I understand what she's saying for her life path. And I think there's lots of people that may have gone through similar. It's a bit of a shame that I think it's really important as a black person that you have black friends. I think that's where I stand on this. I think it's actually fundamental to like shaping your character, feeling seen, your self-esteem. I think it all helps. When you're in a predominantly white space, I think that you would have to be a very strong individual to really stand firm in who you are and not give into like self-doubt, self-esteem issues, just being othered a lot in different ways. So, yeah, those are my initial thoughts. She's not an enemy. I kind of feel a little bit sorry for her experiences, I think.
What do you think, Aya?
Yeah, I think I share empathy with her as well.
Yeah.
The black man thing, I'm so sorry, no victim.
No.
They're just victims. I'm so sorry. I'm not hearing it that you were bullied in high school or secondary school. Now you're no longer messing with black women. Go away. I'm not hearing that one. But as someone who, when I was younger, I traveled around a lot. So it's not until I was a certain age when I really did settle down in London. So I do share the experience of being the only black person in a school year. But I don't know. But like you said, it takes a certain type of person. And I remember I wasn't even aware that I was black because I was just me. But I don't know. But I do understand. Not to say that being the only black person didn't affect me.
Yeah.
When I look back on it, it definitely did. Because I remember growing up wanting to be white a little bit, but I was still very much confident in my skin. But yeah, so I do empathize with her. I think she maybe she just needs to be more intentional about making the right black friends. I don't really know, because when you get to a certain age, it's I think certain things are just instilled in you. But I feel like you can always, I don't know how she's gonna do it, but good luck to her though.
I mean, do you think she has to make black friends?
I agree with Nana. I think it's important to have people who look like you, no matter what you look like, around you. You have to, because you have to feel confident, and you have to feel compassion. You have to feel a connection with people. You have to empathize, and you have to have someone understand you and your culture. And it's very important. Like, I couldn't imagine not having black friends. Like the idea of I feel sorry for her as well, because there is beauty in having black friends.
Yeah.
And not necessarily black friends who are from, like, I'm Caribbean, you guys are African, but that is still beautiful as well, because we each learn something from each other.
Yeah.
We learn about how great and magnificent being black is and how far and wide it stretches. So I actually do feel sorry for her that she hasn't had that. I also feel sorry for her that her experiences in primary shaped her for the rest of her life, because I think that's a real shame. And I wonder what her family life was like, because if she grew up in an environment where she also isn't surrounded by anyone that looks like her, that may have affected why she didn't feel a connection or seek more of a connection outside. Because I get that you can go to a school and be surrounded, or you can go to a workplace and be surrounded by people who are predominantly white. I understand that. But then I think it's important to seek that elsewhere. My daughter goes to a school where she is currently the only black girl in her class, in her year, in fact. But she also goes to an outside school play. She goes to a play scheme that's predominantly black. She goes to Stagecoach, which has a multitude of people from ethnicities. And I think as a parent, it's important for me to make sure that she's exposed to those things so that she doesn't grow up with insecurities. And it's a shame that she didn't have this same experience. So that makes me question her home life.
She did mention at one point when it was, I think when she started secondary school, her mum was like, look, there's a black girl, go, go, go. Like, so she encouraged that. So I think, but that's the only reference to her home life that she made. It's an interesting one, because literally just today I was scrolling through someone's pictures and I saw there was one white girl in a whole sea of black girls. And I was like, I know I've grown up with sometimes being there's one white girl or one white guy in our crew.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I'd ever say to them, you've got to, it's important you have someone that looks like you. I never thought about them. I never even thought about it. But other way round, I would definitely be like, if my daughter had only white friends, I'd be concerned. I would be concerned and question everything I'm doing. And I'd do all the things I could do to ensure that she's not feeling like, or there's not an issue. Yeah. I mean, it could just be by default. Sometimes it is just what it is. When I went to my primary school, very white, I definitely had a mixed race best friend, but my best friend group were all white girls. But I always had black connection. There was either family that I came home to, cousins that I loved and like held dear. And then when I got to secondary school, I always had a white best friend around in the mix. But the black girls it was just impossible for me not to have black friends. Yeah.
This is what I mean then about what you said about having family connections, because My daughter's got like the cousins run deep.
Yeah.
They could start a football crew with the amount of cousins that they are. So I just wonder, was she an only child? Did her parents not have any? Did she not have any cousins? Did her parents not have any black friends? Like, how did that? Because again, if you grow up and you're not surrounded by anybody black, you're going to gravitate a certain way. Yeah. And you're going to find it hard to even find anything in common with them. Yeah. Because you don't know their culture. You don't know anything about them. Yeah.